I didn't cry when the text came. That's the detail people always expect to be different. Calm down. No one's coming. We're going to my engagement dinner instead. It arrived while the makeup artist was blending foundation along my jawline. My phone was face up on the counter. I read it twice. Not because I misunderstood it. Because I needed to see if there was any hint of apology hiding inside the punctuation. There wasn't. A few seconds later, an email notification slid across the top of the screen. "You'll be fine alone," my mother wrote. No explanation. I stared at my reflection. The makeup artist kept working, unaware she was steadying someone whose entire family had just chosen a different celebration. For a moment, I felt the old reflex rise. The one that says, smooth this over. Don't escalate. Make it easier for them. I had financed my sister's postgraduate degree when our parents couldn't. Helped with the deposit for the restaurant she wanted to open but never did. Signed a business loan when she insisted it was temporary. Every time. I told myself I was supporting family, not subsidizing entitlement. And now, minutes before my wedding, they were attending her engagement dinner instead. She'd scheduled it the same evening. She called it a timing conflict. I had timed it thoughtless, until that text. That text wasn't thoughtless. It was certain. I typed slowly, not because I was shaking, I wasn't, but because I wanted each word to be clean. "You'll be fine on your own too. Don't expect another dollar from me." I read it once, no exclamation points, no threats, just information. I hit send, 3 dots appeared almost immediately, then relax, you're being dramatic. A laughing emoji from my sister. My mother followed with, "We'll talk later." They assumed this was another flare-up. Another boundary I'd retreat from once guilt settled in. The ceremony started 23 minutes late. Not because I was crying, but because I had to breathe long enough to understand something quietly fundamental. They hadn't just skipped my wedding. They had bet that I would remain available. The aisle felt longer than expected. The guest list smaller. My father's seat was empty. My sister's too. I noticed them. Then I noticed who was still there. My partner's aunt holding a tissue. My colleague who had flown in overnight. 2 university friends who had known me before I started wiring money home every quarter. When I said my vows, my voice didn't break. But something inside me finished. The next week, I called the bank, not angrily. Not impulsively. I asked about the guarantorship attached to my sister's business loan. The one I had co-signed when she said investors were just around the corner. I asked what it would take to withdraw. There were forms. There was a solicitor. There were consequences. I signed anyway. The bank required her to either refinance independently or restructure within 30 days. I didn't call to warn her. Authority doesn't shout, it stamps. 3 weeks later, the first missed call appeared, then 6 in a day, then voicemails. The tone had changed. "Tariq, we need to talk. This is serious. You can't just," my mother emailed again. Not the clipped tone from before. This one was longer. "The bank has contacted us. There must be some mistake. Your sister says you've withdrawn your support. You know what this means for her." Yes. I did. That was the point. I didn't respond. By the end of the month, there were 102 missed calls between them. My phone logged each one with quiet precision. It didn't feel triumphant, it felt heavy. Guilt is stubborn. It doesn't evaporate just because you've been wronged. It lingers in the space where obligation used to live. One evening, I opened a voicemail at random. My sister's voice was tight now. Not mocking, not amused. "They won't approve the refinancing without collateral. You know I don't have that. Why are you doing this?" I sat with that question longer than I expected. Why? Because you told me no one was coming. Because my wedding was negotiable, but my wallet wasn't. Because laughter has a sound, and I finally heard what it meant. But I didn't send any of that. Silence, I discovered, is not the absence of action. It is action without spectacle. The solicitor sent confirmation 2 weeks later, the guarantorship officially removed. Liability transferred. Documentation complete, concrete, recognizable. Final. My mother tried one last approach, a softer email. "Families shouldn't abandon each other over pride." I read it twice, abandonment. Pride. Interesting words. I typed a reply. Deleted it. Typed again, then ploteries do not require speeches. I sometimes imagine the engagement dinner they chose instead of my wedding. I picture the lighting. The laughter. The certainty that I would continue being the stable one. The one who absorbs. Maybe they truly believed I would fold. Maybe I almost did. But something about that morning clarified the structure of things. Love without reciprocity becomes infrastructure. And I had been infrastructure for years. Now, I am not. The call stopped eventually. Not dramatically. Just gradually. Like someone realizing a door won't open no matter how many times they knock. There has been no reconciliation. No explosive confrontation. Just distance. On our first anniversary, my partner asked if I regretted it. I thought about the empty chairs, the 1 or 2 missed calls, the stamped letter from the bank. No, I said. Not because I felt powerful, but because, for the first time, I felt equal, and that was enough.